Fiammetta Asher. Fiammetta Asher sat in her small, sunlit apartment in the city, the world outside her window a predictable, humming machine. She was a researcher, a cataloger of data, her life a neat and orderly sequence of hypothesis and conclusion. Her work was her sanctuary, a place where everything had a label and a reason. It was a quiet life, and for Fiammetta, that was the whole point, to keep the noise out. It was a Tuesday, a perfectly ordinary Tuesday, when the first memory hit. Not her memory. A flash of a cobblestone street she'd never walked, the smell of salt air and creosote, the feel of a rough woolen uniform against skin that wasn't hers. It lasted only a second, but it left her gripping the edge of her desk, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs. Her own orderly history had been breached. Fearing a neurological event, Fiammetta went to see a specialist, a brisk man named Dr. Evans. The brain scans showed nothing. No tumors, no anomalies. Stress, he'd said, with a dismissive wave. But Fiammetta, a woman of data, knew this was data. She began her own research, scouring medical journals and obscure psychological texts, hunting for a rational explanation for the irrational. Her digging led her to a reclusive geneticist, a man named Alistair Finch, who spoke of theoretical research into inherited memory. He warned her that pursuing this was like opening a door with no idea what was on the other side. The very next day, a new memory arrived, a searing, visceral panic of being trapped in a dark, flooding space. This one didn't fade. It lingered, a ghost glim of terror that made her own world feel paper-thin and false. The memories became a torrent, a fractured, screaming newsreel of lives not her own. A soldier's death in a trench, an immigrant's hope at the sight of a new shore. She couldn't sleep, couldn't think. Her own identity began to dissolve in the flood. Sitting alone in the dark, she clutched her knees to her chest, a stranger in her own skin, utterly lost in the echoing chorus of the dead. This wasn't exploration. It was drowning. Driven to the edge, Fiammetta went back to Finch's lab, demanding answers. He revealed the truth. She was the unwitting subject of an experiment, her DNA spliced with a composite designed to unlock deep ancestral memories. She wasn't remembering her ancestors. She was remembering everyone's. The confrontation was not with him, but with the chaos inside her. She had to choose. Let it consume her, or find a way to command the storm. And there, in the sterile light of the lab, surrounded by the whispers of 1,000 lives, Fiammetta had her moment of terrible, perfect clarity. This wasn't a curse. It was a connection. A profound, terrifying connection to the entire human chain. She saw that her quiet, solitary life had been a preparation for this. To be a vessel, not for noise, but for history. To feel the weight of it all, and not break. Now Fiammetta sits at her desk again, the same sunlit apartment, but she is different. She welcomes the echoes. She has learned to let them flow through her, to acknowledge them without being owned by them. She writes their stories now, giving voice to the silent multitude within her. The world outside still hums predictably, but inside, Fiammetta Asher contains a universe, and she is finally, quietly, at home in the beautiful noise.